Hello everybody, hello, welcome. I am Dan, your friendly fishmonger at dansfish.com. We do this every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, that's 9 Eastern. For those that are a bit mountain challenged, we're gonna go over our shipping report. It's a good one. We're going to do a giveaway, some really cool stuff, and we're gonna get to your questions and comments and just have a discussion about fish based on your questions and comments. That's what we do here every Wednesday. Let's start with the shipping report. It's a pretty good one. I'm excited about this. So, last week when we spoke, we were at 98.34% success for the running 12 months, the last 12 months running. I'm happy to say that we are now at 98.35%. So we improved it by 0.01%. Very few losses, couple Corys, couple shrimp, and that is about it. So we're getting closer to our goal of 99% success. We're ticking it up like 0.01% at a time, it seems like. And as long as it keeps going up, great. As long as it doesn't go down, we'll be in good shape over time. Man, my glasses are bugging me. So that is the shipping report. Pretty good, if I do say so myself, especially considering how much we've scaled up our company, how many more fish we ship every day than we used to. It's a lot more, but we've got good people in place and we've got processes and procedures in place. The main thing though, really, is the people. Everyone that works here is like on board with the mission, right? Everyone wants to see this change, and so they're working hard to make it happen. So really, that's the main thing. You can have all the processes and procedures in place you want, but unless everyone working at the company buys into those, they're kind of meaningless. So good people is the main thing, I think. All right, that's what we have going on here as far as shipping goes. Now I want to talk about our giveaway. We are going to be giving away a group of orange Venezuelan corridors bred by the one and only Rick May. In fact, I'm going to do a little Rick May hypathon. We have several items from him, and I want to show them to you. Rick is my area's version of Dean. He breeds amazing fish. He's a great guy. I love it every time I get to see him. And every now and then he brings me a big group of really cool fish. Here is one right here. This is the gold laser Corys. These are F1s. These are the Rio Ucayali. Let's say that, Ucayali. I'm sure I'm butchering that. But anyway, very nice Corys. And the nice thing about these, look at this price. These are $19.99. Usually, we have to sell the gold laser Cory at $29.99 because of how the industries run. If we get them in the normal industry pricing. But Rick and I talked and we agree that long term, we think the $19.99 price point is fair for that fish long term. We think that's where that should be. And so Rick bred a nice group. We've got, I think, about 150 of them available right now. So not only is it a great deal on that fish no matter what, whether it's imported from the wild or bred in Asia on the farms in the industry. So price-wise, it's really good. But you're getting them from Rick. And they're F1s, and we know the location. So that's a steal of a deal, I would say. Now, I want to preface this by saying I'm not trying to create FOMO. When I'm saying, hey, we have this many, and they're awesome, and it's a limited source, which it is. Rick's one guy. He can only breed so many fish. But keep in mind, we don't ever want to buy fish unless we have an environment set up for them, like a proper stable environment for them. So some of the things I'm going to show you are hard to get. Some of them are in limited quantity. But I'm not trying to create fear of missing out. Just no matter how cool they are, if you don't have a place set up for them, please don't buy them. But if you do, there's some pretty cool stuff. These are Aspidorus spilotus, super fun little catfish, just like a Corydora. except for more slender-bodied and a lot more active. The easiest fish I've ever bred in my life are these Aspidoris. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to click that one. Are these Aspidoris. They breed constantly. I call them the hippie commune because they're always making love. And super happy, super active fish. We have a limited group from Rick. Here's stir-by Corys. These were raised by Rick as well. Now the pictures might just be old pictures I had it from previous batches, but the fish themselves were raised by Rick, and the price, $9.99, that's a great price for a Corridor stir-by, especially when it's bred and raised by hobbyists. This one I'm really excited about. This is Corridor's Weitzmanni. Hard to find. Used to be an absolute holy grail. Used to be like the ghost that was rumored to exist. Then, I forget the name of the gentleman, but went out and actually found some in a very shallow little flowing, kind of rocky mountain looking stream. Lots of little river rocks. Interesting habitat. Brought them back and found out, hey, these are hardy and easy to breed. So the price has dropped significantly. I think it's going to stay around $19.99. I think that's fair price for this fish. But the good news is they're hardy, they're simple to breed, and they're in demand. So this would be a good breeding for profit project if someone's looking for that. We have more limited stock on this species. We have 32 listed right now. Then this is the giveaway fish. The orange Venezuelan Cory, bred and raised by the one and only Rick May. Best source for this species I've ever found. I've been buying these from Rick for, I don't know, a few years now. I think I've literally sold thousands of them. I don't know if that's an exaggeration or not, but I've sold a lot of them over long periods of time. His hold color, they have good bellies, they're fat and sassy, does a great job. And at that price, $11.99, that's a good price for that fish, especially considering the quality. The rain just started. I don't know if you can hear it, but it is raining. And there's a thunderstorm outside, so it's going to be an interesting night here. Celestial Pearl Danios, bred and raised by Rick, the healthiest source for these fish I have yet to find. Good price for that. And really, the picture is not necessarily of Rick's fish. These are just a good picture we had. Thanks for Medina Aquatics for giving us this picture that we could use. But the problem with CPDs is often they have pinched bellies. This is a pretty good belly, but Rick's are even fatter and sassier. He's the best source of fish I know is Rick May. Again, he's our area's version of Dean Tweedle. Can you guys hear it? Yeah, it's really coming down. Got this big cloud above us, this big dark cloud, thunder cloud, and it's just letting loose. Can you guys hear me okay too? It's super loud. Another Rick May fish is the gold dwarf convex cichlid, Nanolutea. I've had these in the past. When these color in, they turn bright gold with these big, bold, black blotches. In fact, let me show you in a Google search. We can still hear you. Well, I'm glad because it's thunderous out there. Super loud. Okay, see these? This is them colored up. Just an absolutely stunning, beautiful fish. The ones that we have are small little juveniles. I'm going to say around an inch, maybe a little bigger with the tail, give or take an inch, but they're going to grow into stunners. And then the last fish from Rick that I want to tell you about, man. Well, if the roof leaks, we're going to find out about it today. Now it's coming down even harder. That sounds like hail. I wonder if that's hail. The last one, a couple months ago, Rick came up and brought me some fish, and he took home a couple pairs of these. And then this time he came back and he brought me a bunch of babies he had raised up. He just bred them like that. So Nana Akara and Amala, really nice little fish. if you like Apistos but want something slightly different, this is a good one. They stay small, they're peaceful, and they're really beautiful. This is them without their nice breeding coloration. They still look good, even when they're not all fired up to breed. So that's the stuff from Rick May. And the giveaway is a nice group of his orange Venezuelan. Oh, I wasn't showing that. Was I? I think I was on the wrong screen. Sorry. If I was. Now I don't know if I was and just switched or what. But anyway, orange Venezuelan Corys are one of the prettiest little fish out there. I would say some of these seem like oversaturated. That feels like that picture was pretty saturated, but that feels like an honest picture right there. This feels like an honest picture right there. Nice orange with these kind of dark blotches separating the orange. That seems like, that's on the edge. But anyway, beautiful little Cory. We'll send you a group of them. And if you are interested, if you are interested in getting a group of these, the hashtag is GoRickGo. That's hashtag GoRickGo. No spaces, caps don't matter. GoRickGo is the hashtag for today's giveaway. I should say from the beginning that Brenda doesn't have anything for after the stream tonight. She's on a deadline for her other career. She's a writer. She writes romance novels, and she's on a deadline getting some audiobooks out there. So she has not done the music for this week. Understandable when you're on a, book deadline. But I want to show you some other fish as well, because we also have some neat stuff that is not from Rick, but I know that a lot of people want, such as the dwarf red-tailed eels. One of the questions I get regularly, maybe the most asked question over the last few months is, when are you going to have more dwarf red-tailed eels? I know one breeder, that's all, in the entire world, and they only produce a certain amount. I was really lucky. I was able to get a nice big group this time. I don't know when I'll be able to get them again, and I'm not saying that to create FOMO. Don't buy them if you don't have a proper environment set up, but that's just the reality of the situation. I literally know of one hobbyist that breeds these. I know of one source. So, nice group available. So for everyone that's been asking, they're there. We also have, these. Longfin Aeneas Corys. Now I know longfin Aeneas Corys aren't the rarest fish in the world, but this strain is amazing. The dorsal fins are super tall. The tails are super nice. It's a beautiful fish, and it's a bargain at that price for that strain. The black Venezuelan Corys, we had some issues with a batch of black Venezuelan Corys, so we stopped selling that batch. This is a different group from a different supplier. So we're listing a few of them. We have 12 available. I think they're going to be great for you. If there's problems, let me know. But being that these are from a completely different supplier and are in a completely different aquarium, I think they're going to do well for you. But we're just going to test out 12 to make sure. Apistos Fire Red. I literally took this picture earlier today. All these pictures. They look so nice, except for this one. This is an older picture. Doesn't have color yet in this picture. We're selling them as trios. I think we have 5 available. Nice looking Agassizi. And I do want to talk about this one. So, for those that like Soelia lineolata, the reticulated hillstream loach or butterfly hillstream loach, there's several species of Soelia, and I've been on the hunt for different species of hillstream loaches. I found a few. This is one of them. I'll have some more coming available as they come out of quarantine. This is, I believe, monolobata, Soelia monolobata. I have the CF in there just because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty darn sure. They come from a source in Vietnam, and that's where monolobata is. The look is correct, but I'm just hedging my bets by putting the CF there. But like a reticulated hillstream loach, except for the lace pattern, the line pattern is a lot finer lines that are more distinct. So instead of the thicker ones that Soelia lineolata gets, just for comparison, real kind of thick lines, bold stripes. This is more lacy. And the thing I was unable to capture is the gold spotting on the back, which I don't think Soelia lineolata has, or if it has, it doesn't show up very well. It has a neat pattern, but the monolabata, you can kind of see this gold sheen right here, and right here, and right here. When you look at them from the top, when they're up on the glass on the back and you're looking at them, it's bright gold spots, basically, that shine off their back. You can barely see it here, and I did get some pictures of it from them on the back, but they were so far back there and the light wasn't good that it didn't look real great. I like this picture. I caught them feeding, kind of tussling for the food, and the sand is just flying everywhere. They go hard for the food. They're not shy feeders at all. And here's the belly view. Nature's suction cups for sure. I just think it's a neat little look. It's just a little bit different than your average Soelia. We see lineolata all the time, so it's neat to see something a little bit different. And then I think the last thing is this one. This is a neat Caridina shrimp. This is the ninja shrimp. It's hard to get pictures of them because the camera has trouble distinguishing them from the background, but they're kind of a B-type shrimp. They have these stripes on them. They're highly variable. This is kind of a tan one. This one's more white and black almost. And this one's another tan one. And did I get the red one? There it is. So back here you can kind of barely see the red form of it as well. So it comes in a red form too. Now, they can change their color at will. So it's not like you can say, get me a red one, because I might send you a red one and it'll be a different color when you get it. But they're really neat. In one aquarium, we have an aquarium full of these, and there's all different colors and things in there from that one species. So that's a fun one too that I haven't seen around in a long time. So that is I don't know, there's lots of neat stuff that we have available, but that's kind of the latest and greatest. We did have another batch of guppies come in, different ones than we already have, and they look amazing. I think they're going to do great. I expect they'll be out of quarantine, and we should have them. We might be able to list them next live stream, actually. Yeah, I think we can list them next live stream. So Wednesday's kind of good. Wednesday's the last day we ship. So the next shipment isn't till Monday. So that means if I show you a fish now, and it's still got a couple days till quarantine, it'll be out of quarantine by the time it's caught for shipping for sure. So that batch won't be out of quarantine by next Wednesday, but that'll be the week, and they'll have a couple days left. But I think we could list them next Wednesday if they're still looking good and there have been no problems, because they won't ship until Monday. Fish Dream Z, I trimmed my Amazon puffer's teeth and it went off without a hitch, so happy learning about the fish. I'm glad to hear that went well for you. My first time doing that, I was a nervous wreck. Yeah, that was not fun. But now it's like, now I know how to do that. Yeah, it's not a worry anymore. All right. Yeah, let's get into the chat. Let's get into your questions and comments. I want to thank my moderators for being here, doing what they do every day. Thank you so much. I appreciate you volunteering your time and being here to make sure that the stream goes well. That's enough shilling. Let's get to your questions and comments. So scrolling here, and the first one I can see is, my name is Nobody. I received my Congo Tetra order today and the hype is real, worth every cent. You guys are on another level. Thank you, my name is Nobody. We try to make that the reality. That's the goal. It's not because we want to be on another level, it's because we want the industry to be on our level. We think humane treatment of the fish should be the norm, so we do our best to do that. I'm glad that you saw the difference, and my hope is that in 10 years, That's the norm. Wherever you buy fish, if they're shipped to you, they're taken care of that way. I think that'd be just great if we can do that. And that's our mission. Our mission isn't, I mean, when I do the videos, I state the mission as to humanely source, maintain, and transport aquarium fish to our customers, because it's easy to wrap your head around that. But what our mission actually is, what our mission statement is on our company documents and our charter and all that, is to change the narrative in the aquarium industry. Right now the narrative is, my friends find out I keep fish and they say, oh yeah, I tried to keep fish once but they all died. Because so many times people get fish that aren't healthy and so they die. And after that happens a couple times, you just give up, right? You're like, I can't keep fish, or fish are hard or whatever, so you stop. What we want the industry to be is people buy fish and almost always they thrive for that customer. If the customer has some basic information about how to care for fish in the nitrogen cycle, then I don't see any reason why the vast majority of fish, almost all the time, 99% of the time, shouldn't do well for that person. So the mission is to make that happen. And our strategy for that is to be the example and to grow the company big enough that people think, oh, that's the way to do it. So that's really what the mission is. It's just too hard to say that at the beginning of a video in a couple seconds. Noel Waters, could you recommend an uncommon centerpiece fish for a 40-gallon breeder? Let's see here. How's that? The dwarf red-tailed eel. That guy's gonna get about 7 inches, we think. So far, no one that we've sold them to has reported them getting over, I think, about 6 inches or so, maybe 7. And that's a good size for a 40-gallon. If you get a few of those, one of the nice things about that fish is, since they're bred and raised by a hobbyist, they're not shy. They're used to people. They're out at the front of the glass begging for food. They don't hide all the time like a lot of eels will. And they're used to aquarium foods. So from day one, they'll eat vibrobites and small pellets and things. So I think that's an uncommon fish. As far as I know, I'm the only one that has that fish available, or has had, that I'm aware of. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with. Wendy Price, gotta love the meals, especially mores. That's amore. Fluffy Cow Aquatics. Hey, it was great to meet you the other day. Thank you for the slate Corys and the Oscars. They are beautiful and cannot wait to get more fish from you when I get the fish from finished and breeding. I can't wait to buy fish from you when you get them breeding. If you get big batches and need to unload them, I'm in the market. I'm always looking for good hobbyist bred and raised fish. It's the best place to buy fish. Hobbyist care. Okay, here's one Sean Lancaster. Do you think heavy rain like this will have any effect on the fish in your facility? Yeah, they're all gonna breed. Since you get water from the creek, trigger Corys to spawn. Yeah, they're all gonna breed. That's what happens. I bet the electric blue car are gonna breed. I bet Corys are gonna breed. I know the Aspidoris are gonna breed. Yep. It's party time when it rains around here. Kurt Bruttine, because of the pseudomilgill's small size, what do you think would be a good tank mate as a solo centerpiece fish? So you're saying you want a solo centerpiece fish to go with a group of pseudomilgills. I would say samurai gouramis, chocolate gouramis, something like that, because they're big enough, I don't know, 2 inches, maybe 2.5, a really big one. They're big enough to be kind of a centerpiece, but they have very small mouths. They're not going to pick on the pseudomilgills. And they couldn't eat them if they tried. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. We have 268 folks here watching. Thanks for spending a bit of your Wednesday evening with us. We appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind sharing this out to all your ex-lovers, get more people in the chat and make the chat real exciting. Let's get some drama in there. Let's get all the X's in there. But seriously, if you know someone that would enjoy this, if you wouldn't mind sharing it with them, see if we can get them in here. We are trying to grow this little channel. I would love to get to 30,000 subs at some point. Orchids and Endlers, I haven't seen honeycomb catfish in ages. I love their cute little faces. I love them too. I'm still searching for the correct source. Now there is a hobbyist in Rapid City that breeds and raises this stuff, and we were in talks, and I thought that we were gonna do some business. I need to circle back to that. In fact, I'm gonna make a note to do that. Writing. I need to circle back and see where we left that. I thought that was going to happen, but I'll have to read the email thread, and maybe I needed to do something, or maybe there was another batch that needed to grow out a little more. I can't remember. But I like honeycomb catfish as well. Crown tail half moon, can we get a goal for looking so sexy tonight? Crown tail half moon, are you feeling sexy? Congratulations. Enjoy the catwalk. Orange cones, using the instructions I shared with Johnny on the beak trims on puffers, ? I used to trim a lot of beaks when I lived in Florida. Yeah, we definitely took your advice into account, orange cones. Boots cats. Cory mosh pit versus separate tanks for each species. Thoughts? Okay. I think as long as we're not sacrificing the quantity of each species, it's probably fine. But if you have a choice between 3 species of Corys in one aquarium or a whole bunch of one species, I would go with a whole bunch of one species. They literally aggregate in groups of hundreds, if not thousands in the wild. Big groups. And we keep them, when I can keep 100 together in a tank or more, that's when they're the happiest. They really do like being in big groups. So I would rather see, let's say you could put 75 Corys in one aquarium. I'd rather see 75 of one species than 25 of 3 species in that tank. Just because I think they'll be more comfortable, I think they'll be happier, and I think you'll see neater behavior, and it's a different fish when it's a big group like that. Now that being said, 25 is a decent batch. So I'm not saying don't do it if you would rather have 25 of each species or 35 and a half, whatever it is, 32 and a half of each species, go for it. But if you're asking my opinion, I would rather see one in there just because I think they would like it better. Wichita Falls Fish Keeper, glad to catch a live stream. Glad to see you. Glad you could make it. Always good to have you around, Wichita. And we have 283. Thanks for inviting all your ex-lovers to join us. It worked. 283 folks here. I haven't seen any drama yet, though. Come on. No. Just kidding. We don't want drama here. Spinster Sister. I want to move my 3 Veiltail swords to a 55-gallon tank. I'm planning on getting another pair, so will the 55 long be enough for 5 adults? Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a great home for 5 adults. I think that would be a forever home for sure. If it's a new tank, I would just be careful. Make sure it's cycled and seasoned before you move them all over there. Swordtails don't like, they come from nice clean water, these nice mountain slopes in Mexico mostly. And we've domesticated them so long they have some tolerance, but they really don't like ammonia or nitrite. No fish does, I don't think, but I think they're more sensitive to it than a lot of other fish. And especially when you get those long veil fins and you have all that extra surface area and that thin tissue that, by osmosis, chemicals can want to seep through. I think having a nice stable tank is key for those. So just something to think about. Chat jumped. Where was Wheeze? Wheeze was here. Here we go. Matt M. Amazing you got Aplochilus Day. I know. I've been looking for a long time. I've had them on and off my entire fish keeping career. I've had them since I was a teenager. Love that fish. Any chance a block eye were in that order too? I wish. There was Blockeye was not available, neither was Kirschmeyeri. Also, would they get too big to live with pseudomugils? They would probably do okay with some of the bigger ones, but I think with Luminatus and some of the smaller ones, probably not. Full-grown Fricata, though, those are pretty beefy. Certain strains and locations of Pseudomugil signifer get pretty good sized. And I don't know if you consider Celebes rainbows to be Pseudomugils, but if you're thinking Celebes rainbows, those definitely get big enough. So some of the larger ones I think you could do just fine. Really appreciate what you're doing for the hobby. Oh, thanks, Matt. Doing my best. I'm a killie guy at heart, always looking for more sources of killifish. Lips were dry despite the humid day. Thank goodness the rain cloud passed. This is Wyoming for you. Now it's sunny outside. I'm looking out the window there, I see blue skies. It's just like this one massive cloud comes over, drops everything it's got on you and moves on this time of year. Laura Bustos, cool videos you have. Oh, okay, yeah. So Laura's bringing up a good point, which is when I'm scrolling on the chat, I'm just scrolling quick until I see an orange box. So I'm scrolling until I see an orange box, and then I'll stop and reply to that because that means it's directed at Dan's Fish. If it's not in the bright orange box, I assume that you're just talking among yourselves. You know, there's a lot of friends in this chat, a lot of people that have known each other a long time, and there's a lot of banter that is not directed at me. So in order to get me to look at your thing, make an orange box, and you do that by typing in Dan's Fish or at Dan's Fish or hashtag Dan's Fish. It'll pop up when you're typing your comment. When you type it in correctly, it'll pop up and you select that, and that makes it bright and orange for me, so I know how to, who's wanting my attention. Fish Hunter, I'm setting up a new shrimp tank. Any ideas on tank mates? Also, I bought some raccoon tetras from you. They're awesome and exhibiting amazing colors. Thank you so much. I'm glad you got them. And yes, I know I tell people, I'm like, trust me, this is the best tetra I've seen in a long time. Let me show, people need to see what we're talking about here. Really my favorite tetra. These guys are amazing. So I know when I send fish out, often they haven't colored up yet. And I'm like, trust me, it'll be worth it. Trust me, they really do color up into this or even better when they grow up a little bit. Just absolutely stunning fish. I think they're my favorite tetra, just because tetras had gotten a little bit ho-hum for me. And then we got some of these, and they were, oops, next screen, there we go. And they were a little bit ho-hum for me. I was like, I guess it's okay, right? And then after I had them for a couple weeks, they colored up, and I was like, oh, like a tetra hadn't grabbed me like that did for years. So they're my favorite right now, just because it's cool when a fish does that for you, because then you're like, wait a minute, I need to take another look at that group of fish. So now we had the blue ribbon tetras, we had the imperial lapis tetras, we've got some phoenix tetras, mostly because of those Hyphesobricon procyon, the raccoon tetras. They just made me want to do tetras again because they were so cool. So I'm really glad, Fish Hunter, that they're coloring up for you. Tank mates for shrimp. Okay, my main caveat with this is how many hides do you have for your shrimp? If you've got like a quarter of the tank choked with Java moss and a whole bunch of rock work and little hides and spots where they can go when they're molting to be protected, then I think there's a lot of fish that can go with them. Almost any small peaceful fish. The trouble happens during the molt. When they've molted, now they're soft and delicious. Their exoskeleton hasn't hardened yet, and they just get torn apart by even the most peaceful fish. I've seen 1/4 inch fry absolutely demolish a freshly molted cherry shrimp. So you need all those hides and things so that when the shrimp is molting, it can go hide until it shell hardens. It'll do that more or less instinctively. But the safest fish I can think of for shrimp are probably like chili rasboras, pygmy gouramis, licorice gouramis, anything that's really small and has a really small mouth. Chocolate gouramis, samurai gouramis, that kind of thing. Pencil fish, with the caveat that these are micro predators. So they will seek out the baby shrimp like nobody's business. That's a natural prey item for them. So as long as you don't mind some of the babies getting eaten, then I think those are really good ones to start with. Purple cones, I would buy up any honeycomb catfish you had so quick. They are my favorites. Yeah, I agree. They are so neat. And I just need to follow up and see if I can make that happen. Sorry, my allergies hit hard yesterday. I was like, am I getting a fever or is this allergies? I think it's allergies. But right now, everything's hay fever, man. It's miserable. So I'll be drinking a lot because my throat feels dry, and I'll probably have the sniffles occasionally. But, you know, it's a live podcast. Oh, Johnny says, at Leo29 Aquatics, all of Rick's fish have Rick's name in their title. We probably have 2 listings of the orange vens. Yeah, so that's a good point. So if you go here and you search Rick's, these are the fish from Rick. So we might have multiple batches of fish, like, so here's his orange Venezuelan Corys, Rick's orange Venezuelan Corys. We also have some from another source. They're still good, but they ain't Rick, right? So we have 2 sources for those. So we've titled Rick's stuff very obviously because I think he's got the best fish in the business, and I want you to have the option, right? And the prices are not, the pricing is very reasonable for that quality of fish. In some cases, they're less than what we normally sell fish for, just because we think that's the fair long-term price for that species. Meg Elliott, my green Corys are laying eggs. That is awesome. Any tips on how to get them to fertilize the eggs? Well, I would leave that up to them, but as far as how to incubate the eggs, we have a video on our channel about breeding and raising Corydoras. And I think that one features albino Aeneas. But the principles there work for pretty much any common Cory that you'll find in the hobby, including the green Cory. If we're talking about green Cory, I think of Corydoras Aeneas, maybe Brochus splendens when I hear the common name green Cory. So I'd refer you to that video. That's everything I know about it. Bunny Viper Aquatics, cool videos from a cool guy. When asking Dan a question, use @DansFish so he'll see it. Dojos need more room than a 10. Okay, I guess someone was talking about dojos. I missed that. Dojos are cool fish though, and they get big. Big and chunky. I'm scrolling because chat jumps. So if you are listening on the podcast, I am just scrolling up to see the next comment in line, which is right here. Lucas Haas, what's your favorite fish? It changes on the daily because as I walk around, there'll be a tank of fish that's just full-blown colored up, like they're about to spawn or males are displaying or something. It might be a common fish. It might be an emperor tetra, but they're like sparring, or black phantom tetras the other day. I was like, those are the best ever. Whatever fish in that moment has decided that it's going to put on a show. And I'm really lucky because I get to see different fish, completely different types of fish from all over the world putting on a show. At least a few a day are putting on a show, and it rotates who's doing that. So I get to see some really cool stuff. But my answer to the question, for reasons of nostalgia, is Fundulopanchax gardneri. It's a killifish. I'm going to show a picture. For those that don't know this fish, this is a killifish. The reason it's my favorite is it's one of the first killifish I ever bred and raised successfully. The other reason though is look at this thing. These are gorgeous. That is as pretty as a marine fish from the coral reefs. Like, these things are stunning. Blue background, bright red dots all over, nice red marginal lines, submarginal lines with yellow margins. Just such a pretty fish. And they're highly variable. Here's another species from another location. Totally different looking, right? Not totally different looking, but very different looking. Here's another one. It's got blue on the two bottom fins, yellow on the top. So there's all this variety depending on the location and such. But they're hardy, they're prolific, they're easy, and they're beautiful. And again, one of the first egg-laying fishes I bred and raised successfully. And one of the first fishes that I was really on the hunt for and tracked down successfully. I'd seen pictures of them in books in my local library, because this was the 90s. And the summer between 6th and 7th grade, I got into fish, and I went to that local library and checked out every book they had on fish. There was Axelrod's series on breeding fish. There was Innes's book on tropical freshwater fishes. A lot of Axelrod stuff. Like TFH owned the market pretty much. But I saw pictures of killifish. I remember Nothobranchius gardneri. Nothobranchius rackovi. And I remember Fundulopanchax gardneri. And there were lots of others too, Blue Gularis and other things. They called that Clausenae. Blue Gularis, I think the scientific name in the Innes book is Clausenae or something like that. It's really Shostedi, but it was an old book misidentifying things. But anyway, I saw those and I tried to find them, and it took some effort, but finally I was able to find a dude that owned a pet store that used to be a member of the American Killifish Association. And when I told him what I was looking for, he knew exactly what I was talking about, and he was able to hook me up. So that was like a victory as a kid, 13-year-old kid, 14-year-old kid. And so that's just an experience I'll never forget, and that's why that fish is that's my fish. I like lots of different fish, though. It's hard to have a favorite, especially when you're surrounded by literally hundreds of aquariums. And I don't know how many species we have right now, but I don't know, 400, something like that. 309 folks are here. Folks, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind sharing this out to a friend that you think might like the stream, we always like having more people in, the more the merrier. And if you wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button, I want to get to 30K subscribers. Your help would be appreciated. Cool videos from a cool guy says, my young yo-yo loaches bellies are skinny. Is that normal? I mean, if they're really young, then they aren't really filled out yet. But if you're talking about pinched bellies, then absolutely not. It's not normal. You might want to think about deworming and just keeping food in front of them, if you can, pretty much all day. Like put in a big pellet that's going to be water stable. If you go to the description below, you'll see the link to my Amazon affiliate account. And there's the foods we feed there. And if you look there, you'll see Hikari Massivore Delight. And you'll see Extreme, what do they call it, scratcher pellets, wafers. And probably Hikari algae wafers, things like that. So big chunks of food that are water stable. So if you put that in the aquarium in the morning, it's not going to disintegrate and turn to messy powder and stuff for hours. So you can come back that evening after work, and if they haven't eaten it, you can still scoop it out with like a brine shrimp net or something, or take it out with a turkey baster. So if you can do that and keep that food in front of them all day long pretty much, that will be very helpful to help get them back into good condition. Rotate between meaty foods and veggie foods. Botillas eat a lot of protein, but they also eat detritus and other organic matter like that has vegetation in it. So you do want to have a rotation in their some veggies in their diet. But if they're pinched out, that's starvation or parasites or both. And so that's what you're going to be dealing with. I just hate it. Like when fish come in with pinched bellies, and thankfully that doesn't happen nearly as much anymore. We've worked really hard with our suppliers, and we've kind of just stopped working with suppliers that aren't up to par. And generally our stuff comes in good, but every now and then something will come in emaciated, and it's just like, I say nay. Like we have a discussion, like what's going on here? I hate that. There's no reason for that. So good luck to you, cool videos from a cool guy. I hope that they do well. See, silly me thought that Bunny Viper saying cool videos from a cool guy was talking about me and saying I was a cool guy with cool videos, but ego check. All right, Q Clips, love your stream and fish trying to get those fish. Love your streams. Hey, I'm glad, Q Clips. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. We love you participating. Thanks for the comment. So, cool videos from cool guy. My young dojo loach's bellies are skinny. Is that normal? That's like the third time I've seen that comment in a few minutes of chat. Posting more often doesn't mean I'll get to them quicker. So don't feel like you have to spam the chat. I get the impulse, but I literally go down and take everything in order. So if chat jumps and for some reason I can't see your comment because chat's jumped too far and I've skipped it, then feel free to post it again. But in general, let's not spam the chat. It just clogs things up. James Pozzone. I'm going to say Pozzone because it's fun. James Pozzone. Hey, any chance for more female Sabula resplendens? Yes. I don't have any right now, though. I mean, I don't know if they're listed right now. We just have males listed right now. I do have a batch of pairs coming up that should be available to go soon. So I don't have just females, but I do have a tank of mixed sexes. Looks like they're not quite out of quarantine yet, though. Ice Demon 1515. What is the process you go through when breeders reach out to you about shipping you in fish to sell to customers? Well, I respond and I say, please send me, because usually they just say, hey, I want to sell you fish. What would be great is if you reached out with a list of the fish you have for sale, how many of each you have, their size, and the price you would like. That would be helpful. Then we can skip some of the beginning steps. But usually I respond and say, give me that information. What kind of fish? How big are they? How many are there? And what's the price you would like? We can pay you 25% of the landed cost. So we have to be able to pay 25% of the fish landed. And that's what we do. So if you send me a list of what you got with that information, then I'd be happy to, as long as it's something we can sell. The other thing we often ask for is pictures of the parents. We'll ask for pictures of the tanks of fish that you're selling us, video of them, stuff like that, just so we get a good sense of where they're coming from. My neck's better, but it's still a little stiff on that side. Oh yeah, there we go. I need a masseuse. But Ice Demon, it's pretty straightforward. We can pay 25% of the retail cost landed, and we just need to know how many and what you got. Q Clips, love your fishing streams, and the tank behind you is awesome. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. A light burned out on it recently, and so we have to. It's a little lighter colored than usual. It's not as bright as usual, I should say. But we'll get another light. We'll get a replacement. Nathan Hovey, would cherry barbs lay eggs or take fry into coconut huts? I have a female that's been in a hut for days now, and she seems to be guarding it. All day pokes her head out and back in. I mean, even if they were laying eggs and fry, she would not be defending them. She would be eating them if she could. So I don't think that's a protective parent cichlid type behavior. Maybe she just found a little spot she likes. and she wants to hang. Yeah, she found a little cubby. But no, it's not breeding behavior. Breeding behavior is swim around, scatter eggs around, and then eat as many as you can on cherry barbs. Mountain Greenery. Hi, I'm curious what your favorite Corydora is. Mine are panda Corys because they are the best. What's your favorite Cory? I like pandas, they're the best. Well, I guess I have to like pandas now because they're the best apparently. I really like the dwarf Corys. I like Corydoras habrosus a lot. I like pygmy Corys a lot. Dwarf Corys are awesome. But I also like Equus a lot. I don't know, that's a hard one. I'm gonna say Equus. Or is it habrosus? Anyway, that's my best answer. Mikey M got a new killie from the German killifish show yesterday, Diapteron georgiae. Oh, I'm so jealous. One more species arriving from a friend in 3 weeks, Epiplates chevalerae. Great stream. Yes, I love both of those. Okay, we have to show people what diapterons are. If you don't know this killifish, did I spell that right? Diapteron. Diapteron. What is this? Diapers? Diapteron. I forgot the T. That's why. I'm spelling diaper on. These are diapterons. Look at these. This is fulgens. Absolutely stunning gems. Just so beautiful. One challenge with diapterons is they come from these high mountain streams in West Africa. They need super good water because these are nice clear streams, running streams. And they need it cool, like 65 degrees would be great for these guys. This is Georgiae, the one that Mikey M is talking about. But there's all kinds of them, and each one is pretty. Abyssinium, like each one is prettier than the last. Look at this fulgens right here. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then let's show people Epiplates chevalerae as well. Epiplates chevalerae. Or however you say it, I'm sure I butchered it. So on this one, look at these rows of red dots. So this is a surface fish, kind of like, if you've ever seen a gold wonder killifish at a pet store, that's similar. That's like Asia's answer to the Epiplates. Epiplates are from Africa. Aplochilus, lineatus, which is the species from which the golden wonder killie was derived, are from Asia. And or maybe India. I can't remember exactly where that one's from. But these are kind of like that. They're a dwarf, not a dwarf, they're a surface, I was going to say they're kind of like a dwarf pike. They're a surface-dwelling pike-like fish, and just, they're so neat. Epiplates are amazing. Oh, I could geek out for hours. Mikey M, I hope one day we get to meet up and geek about killifish. I want to come tour your fish room. Oh, that'd be awesome. I can't do it right now. I can't go to Europe right now, but man, that'd be great. Nick Blegi. Are your African butterflies cichlids sexed? I really want a trio. They are not. In fact, the other day I was looking at them, I'm like, can I sex these? And I came to the conclusion that I wasn't willing to take that risk. So I'm sorry, I can't. Eric Bana, what time does the stream usually end? Usually about 8:30, but there's no set time really. That's the time I cut it off by. But I don't believe in a stream going longer than it naturally wants to go. So sometimes we've got to the end of all the comments. Obviously, there's not a lot of action anymore, and so I'm like, looks like the stream's over just naturally. So sometimes we cut it earlier if the stream, like when the comments dry up, it's like, okay, everyone's done. Let's shut it down. So I don't try to push it if things aren't happening. And I don't know, today, like my allergies are really bugging me. I've got like a lot of pressure in my head and my throat scratchy and stuff, but So I was thinking, I'm like, I'll just go an hour today, but I don't know. I love geeking out about fish, so I'll probably push to 8:30 if the chat is active till then. Nabokov fan 87. I've tried everything with my shrimp. The baby shrimp go on the back glass, and it's literally a buffet for anything in the tank. Corridor's fry spooked the shrimp and made it hard to feed. Even Corys? So I understand if they're on the back glass that lots of fish would go and see them and go and eat them. But Corys surprises me. We literally have colonies of shrimp that we put on top of Corys and on top of plecos, and they breed like crazy. So maybe you're not saying that your Corys are the ones eating them. I can't remember exactly what you have in that aquarium. I know we've talked about it a couple times. But yeah, if they're going there instead of hanging out in like good hiding areas, then yeah, I guess that's an issue. Usually if there's a lot of like thick clumpy plants or lots of rock work or whatever, enough of them will live to keep your colony going. But like, I know people that keep guppies and cherry shrimp together and breed tons of them, and that's kind of their little breeding for profit tank. I've seen that done a ton of times. So some fish it can work with, but yeah, it sounds like maybe it's time to keep the shrimp and the fish separate if you want good yield. Always have an established colony before adding anything. That probably helps, because then the shrimp have the advantage of numbers. Yeah, that makes sense. Punchy Paint says, check your super chats. Did I miss out? Did someone super chat and I totally didn't see it? Probably. Hang on. Let me wet my whistle and I'll do that. Okay. Someone throw a super chat at me and I missed it? Oh, holy cow. Look at me neglecting all this generosity. Kelly Foreman, 1999. Thanks for the super chat. Always appreciated. Never required. But we're a startup, so every little bit helps. Once again, Dan fails to properly schedule the weather accommodations for the stream. Tisk, tisk. All right, Kelly, I've failed too many times. That's now your job. Kelly, please schedule the weather for this stream. Leo, I think my trio of McMaster might be spawning. Oh yeah, baby. One female stays in a cave, hoping for the best. What's the best temp for those Corys? I don't know which Cory we were talking about at the time. I can't remember, but I keep all my Corys at 79 degrees. So anything that I sell does well at 79 degrees and is probably breeding at those temps too. Robo, a new member. Hey, thanks for joining the Fishmonger crew, Robo. The memberships are super helpful, so we appreciate that. And Kelly's Aquatics and Reptiles. Dan, you missed a super chat from Kelly. Not anymore. I got it. With a little help from my friends. A little help from my friends. And moving on. Thanks, Punchy Paints, for bringing that to my attention. Sometimes I'm bad at my job. I don't check that stuff. Okay, scrolling again and trying to find the next comment, which is Ride Guy Outdoors. Are the Amazon puffers settled in? Is that swimming normal for them? I wouldn't say they're settled in yet. They're kind of surfing a bit, but they're settled in more than they were before. What they're really doing right now is looking at me and saying, where's the food? I actually think that's why they're surfing, because I've seen them plenty of times not doing that. But yeah, Amazon puffers do that a lot. Sometimes it's a problem. It's called glass surfing, and it's like they aren't settled in and they're just going back and forth and back and forth. But sometimes it's this, which is daddy feed me, is what this is. So they're at the front glass, you know, begging. So I'd say that's pretty normal when they want to be fed. Okay. Oh, I'm a cool guy too. Thanks, cool videos from a cool guy. I'm glad I made the cut. It's hard to be as cool as a guy whose name is literally cool videos from a cool guy, but I'll take the honorable mention. Leo29 Aquatics, when y'all adding more scuds? Oh, that's, yeah. Let's hear. I thought that was to Johnny, but it's to me. When y'all adding more scuds, the puffers want some. She said to let y'all know so she can buy some. Your puffer wants scuds. The issue is we've got a whole bunch of Congo spotted puffers in right now, and we need all the scuds we can get. So I don't have any spare. We're having trouble producing enough for our own needs at the moment because they hungry, and we want to get them all fat and sassy so we can sell them. But once we've sold through that batch, then I bet we'll have some. Orchids and endlers. That sounds like a good life. Orchids and endlers. There's a hobbyist in Ohio that sells some very hard to find Amazon catfish species, but unfortunately he doesn't ship. Super bummed because he had some pinstripe woodcats, my dream fish. That's a pretty one. Right now, the closest thing I have to honeycomb catfish is ninja catfish. That's the ninja woodcats. That's the closest I have right now. Whoa, bro, any advice on breeding fancy goldfish outside? I've never bred and raised goldfish, so I'd refer you to a channel, Luke's Goldies. There might be better channels out there, I don't know, but I follow Luke's Goldies because, like, right now he bought an old fish hatchery and he's renovating it, and that kind of thing is of interest to me. But I think that channel on YouTube, or did he change it to Goldfish Guy? I think it's still Luke's Goldies. All kinds of information about breeding them. And you can check out Solid Gold. Is it Solid Gold Aquatics? Isn't really producing content anymore, but did for a long time, so probably has some information about that. Wish I could help you though, but I literally would be just guessing because I've never tried that. Orchids and Endlers, I think his name is Jeremy Bosch. Oh yeah, I know Jeremy, sure. Yeah, he has amazing catfish. Lots of killifish too. Tracy S, I love my dwarf Corys. I got 14 and a 20 long. They're so fun to watch. Yeah, you can't go wrong with a big group of dwarf Corys. Absolutely. Just little clowns. Mitchell Broom, you're not showing the killifish. Oh geez. The diapterons, I did that whole thing without showing you the screen. I'm sorry. That was lame. Here they are. Here's Fulgens. Super pretty. Here's the one that Mikey M got. This is Georgier. But look at all these different species of diapterons. Like each one is prettier than the last. Just, where's Abyss? Yeah. Look at this. Cyanostictum, so pretty. Like, just, I could look at these for forever. Such a neat group of fish. And then the Epiplates chevalierae. I like Shaprai too. Chevalierae, there we go. Nice red stripes on these guys. Really neat little fish. Sorry, I neglected to show you those before. Sometimes I'm just lame at my job. Michael and Seneca. Do the red-tailed eels have small mouths? It's hard to tell in the pictures. I have small fish. I wouldn't put them with CPDs just as a, because I'd feel bad if you did and they ate them. But I've never seen them go for a fish. They have fairly small mouths for their size, yes. Yeah, I think probably not with fish like CPDs. It might work, but I'd feel horrible telling you to try that and then having one fat eel and no CPDs. Coro works, W-E-R-K-S. I have Cory pygmaeus and Cory brocus splendens. So, yeah, okay. So brocus splendens. Should I add one to my summer tub alongside Chopre Daniel, or will they eat the eggs? Which one if so? 30-gallon long bog filter. If what you're going for in your patio pond is production, if you want a lot of babies, I wouldn't mix anything in. I just leave the Chopre alone. The other issue is once you put the Pygmaeus and Brochus out there, you're never going to see them again. Like looking down from the top, I'm assuming it's a dark colored liner on the pond, or that's usually what it is. If that's so, well, even if it's not, once a little detritus gets down there and is dark colored on the bottom, you're just never going to see them. So if it was mine, I wouldn't. I would just do the Chopre. That's just my opinion, though. You want to do it, try it. Give it a whirl. Jacob Metzner, what do you do to treat ulcers in a fish? The first thing I do is try to find the cause. Well, that's not the first thing I do. Well, yeah, it kind of is. First thing I do is check parameters. Is the water clean? Are there some husbandry issues I need to address? Sorry, my mic cord is like twisting up on me here. And if not, if the parameters are good, if that's not maybe the cause, then for ulcers, that's rough. So many causes. Could just be a physical injury, like there was something sharp in the aquarium and they got caught on it, or I don't know, anything like that, just a physical injury. Could be bacteria, could be a virus, could be lots of different things. And of those, could be many different kinds of those too. So I don't know. That's a symptom that could be caused by so many actual causes. I wouldn't know which one to treat without probably getting a vet on board. And I know that's not possible for a lot of people. So Jacob, I wish I could help you. I'd say clean water, real clean water. And if you don't have plants in the tank, salt couldn't hurt either. That'll help with the osmotic stress of an open wound. Wish I had more for you. Ice Demon 1515. Thank you for letting me know the process. I've had great success shipping my plecos, so I was just curious. You're welcome, and I'm just glad, I'm thrilled to hear that you're being successful shipping. That's great. That's great. Nabkov Fan 87 back again with another comment. The main thing is to just have a good colony before adding fish. I noticed very different behavior in the Cory fry. Love the shrimp food dish. Oh, so the fry go and eat the shrimp food. That makes sense. Bob Purcell, how is the plant side of the business going? Well, we don't have any immediate plans to get more plants. It's not because it didn't go well. It was profitable. It's because we're growing so fast that it's everything we can do just to keep up with the core of the business, which is shipping animals, fish and shrimp and a few snails, like aquatic animals. So we have put plants on hold. Also, there's some partnerships that we're looking at where plants could be a conflict of interest. So we've also put things on hold for that. So there's different things, different reasons, but really it's, man, we've got everything we can do just keeping up with the demand for the fish. So that's what we're set up to do. That's our primary business. So we'll focus on that. Okay, Laura Bustos again. Are you keeping the new Caridina Ninja guys in neoparameters or hardcore RODI Caridina water? We don't do anything water parameter wise except for keep very clean water here. There's a whole bunch of videos on our water system and what we do. Check out Steenfod Aquatics if you want the rundown on what our system is, how it's run, and what the parameters are. But our water, we don't doctor, and I never have. So I've kept and bred shrimp in very soft water. I've kept and bred shrimp in very hard water. Our water here is naturally hard and alkaline. So the Sulawesi type shrimp love it. But we also don't have any problem keeping the Caridinas of your bee shrimp and things, your crystal red shrimp. That's not a problem. Neither is the, why can't I think? Just your common cherry shrimp types. So I honestly think for shrimp, if you have a really well-established tank, mature, well-seasoned, got all kinds of ecosystem going, then just keep the parameters stable, and I think you'll be okay. But ours right now, we're in hard alkaline water, just because that's what we naturally have. Dragon Layer saying, check Josh's question, please. Okay, I'll scroll up and see if I can find Josh Thomas. I've been breeding desert gobies. Have any experience with them? Yeah, did I make a video? Fairly easy. Little PVC pipes, like 1/2-inch PVC pipes, maybe 3/4 inch, depending on the size of the gobies. I throw those in there. The gobies will spawn. And here, okay, so the way I do it is exactly like I do peacock gudgeons. So if you look at my video on breeding and raising peacock gudgeons, I do the exact same thing with the desert gobies. So I'd follow that. I find an egg tumbler is very helpful for hatching those types of fish eggs. Okay, scrolling here, and I have found Caitlin DeRosier. Did I say that right? I'm going to go with yes. I have a friend who's had 2 fish die. All others in the tank are fine. They had red gills and an increased respiration. Any idea what might cause that? There's a lot of things that can cause that. Huge caveat for anything I talk about with fish sicknesses or disease or whatever in this stream. I'm not a veterinarian, never have been, but there's lots of things that could cause that. It could be that like ammonia burn, if they're newly acquired and they just went through that meat grinder of a supply chain, then odds are they could have been in some conditions where there was high ammonia, and that could literally burn the gills and cause red gills, cause inflammation, and be a big problem. Could be parasites in the gills. There's all kinds of little parasites that love living in the gills because that's a tissue that is rich in nutrients. All the blood in there that's collecting the oxygen, it's a high oxygen, nutrient-rich environment, and all those little gill filaments are just delicious. And so it could be parasites, it could be bacterial infection, there's viruses, there's so many things that could be causing that. But unless these are fish that they've had for a long, long time and it just started, my guess, correct me if I'm wrong, is these are probably new fish that they acquired recently, within the last 2 weeks. And they're probably just experiencing the consequences of a supply chain that isn't managed well. Baron von Yinzer, what kind of veggies or fruit would you recommend for plecos and any other veggie-eating fish? Well, there's lots of them. When I had the plecos and the scuds and the shrimp and everything back at home, then pretty much any veggie or fruit that wasn't strange, right? Like I didn't give them avocado, I didn't give them onions or anything like that. But if we were eating carrots, steamed carrots, I'd put a steamed carrot on a fork and drop it down there. If we were eating zucchini, I'd put some of that in there. If we had, there's some vegetables that kind of just disintegrate, especially if you blanch them. Spinach is pretty messy, but anything that kind of holds true and can be blanched, like a carrot needs to be steamed to be soft enough. Well, unless it's a wood-eating pleco, or something that's naturally soft like zucchini coins. The world's your oyster. I mean, lots of stuff. Maybe avoid nightshades. What's that? Tomatoes, potatoes, eggplant, that kind of thing. But I fed them lots and lots of stuff, wide variety. The easiest is zucchini. It's cheap. During the summer, your neighbors are growing so much they want to give it away by the bushel. They can't get rid of it fast enough. And so you can get a bunch of free zucchini, and that's pretty easy. You don't need to steam it or blanch it or anything. Just coin it, stick it on a fork, drop it in, you're good to go. I know a lot of people that use canned French cut green beans. French cut because you need them cut lengthwise so that hard skin isn't covering most of the bean, right? The flesh is exposed that way to the fish. So that's a good one. I find it to be a little messy though, because there's a lot of seeds, like the beans, that kind of float away, and there's certain tissues that seem to be difficult for them to chew up and eat, and those kind of go around. So I kind of avoid that, but lots of people use that. It is easy and it's healthy for them. You just got to clean a little bit. Okay, Gordon U. Are you able to sex your Nanochromis parilis? Living in Canada really limits what you can find. I haven't tried to sex them. I honestly don't know if I could or not. I haven't tried. Ice Demon, my SAEs surf the front glass often when they school, which means I want easy food. Yeah, fish learn where the food comes from, and so often they'll go to that spot. Spoiled Sushi, that might be the best username ever. I don't know, Fluffy Cow is pretty good, but Spoiled Sushi for a fish stream, like just all kinds of like visceral reactions. Have you ever fed your fish wingless fruit flies? All the time. Not technically flightless because a lot of them still have vestigial wings, but yes, all the time, both species, the little ones and the big ones. I forget the scientific names. They love them. I would recommend it. I think it's awesome. Like half-beaks go nuts. Epiplates, Aplochilus, hatchetfish go absolutely nuts. There's certain fish that's their natural food. They are adapted to floating at the surface and waiting for an insect to touch the water. So you give them a fruit fly, whoo, game on. So I think it's awesome. I think it's good enrichment for a lot of species. Ooh, all right. Scratchy throat, no fun. Windy is sidetracked, aren't we all? Are there any nice killifish that can be kept at a pH of 8? Yeah, there's a lot. Let me show you. First one that we will have listed soon, if it's not already, let's see if it's listed already, is Lamprichthes tanganyicanus. Here it is, and it is listed. Yeah, we have them available. We have a very nice batch of like little 1-inchers. Looks like these might be a little bigger at 1.5. I don't know. Are they 1.5 really, Johnny? Should we make that 1 to 1.5? I think there's a little range there. But maybe they are. I'd have to take a closer look. But anyway, they ship really well from like the 1 to 1.5 size range. Now this doesn't look like much, right? That's because it's a little baby. Let me show you what these look like when they grow up. First of all, they're an impressive fish. They get 4 or 5 inches. And they look like this. Beautiful robin's egg blue spots lined with this yellow body. Just a really stunning, really beautiful lamprey. I love this fish. Super active too. So pretty unique for a killifish. Lampreys are kind of a different thing. They act differently than a lot of killifish. But I like these guys, and they come from Lake Tanganyika, so they literally want super hard alkaline water. That's what they have naturally. Now I've kept them in soft water, but it takes some doing. You have to get good stock and kind of transition them over. So that's one. Other ones are Aphanius. Well, we've got a couple I can show you of Aphanius. This is Aphanius mento. This is the dominant male. He's got a couple nips because he has to fight to keep his hierarchy. Not super violent, but they definitely, you know, spar. Black fish with bright dots all over it. Really pretty. Those are females, the brown ones. Aphanius mento is an absolutely stunning fish. And then we have Vladikovai as well. We just have males left, I think. And this is what the males look like. They have these bars on them. Now, when they color up, the bars get a lot darker and more pronounced. I don't have a picture of them colored up. They have colored up here, but never when I had the glass clean and had the time to do that and take a picture and everything. Lots of varieties though. Where's Dispar? Aphanius Dispar is a great one. Well, here's a better fit picture of the Vladikovi. You can see the bars. Oh, if I showed it to you, the bar's better there, right? They're actually a pretty little fish. So all these Aphanius, if you can find them, and you can usually find Mento and some of the others. Here's Dispar. It's not a great picture though. There you go. That's getting you the idea. See these nice stripes on it and these nice iridescent pattern. I think this is a pretty little killifish. So Aphanius are awesome. Then there's pupfish. Lots of species of pupfish. Some of these are illegal, like the devil's hole pupfish, highly illegal to own, but there's others that you can keep. And they really like hard alkaline water. This is one of the coolest pictures ever. I've seen this before. Yellow-headed, blue-backed pupfish spawning in nature, sparring in nature. Here they are, actually spawning in Death Valley. Oh, such a cool species. So these are native to Western United States and Mexico. All kinds of neat ones. Actually, that's not true. You also have some in the Eastern United States. You have the sheep's head and you have the flagfish and some others. So I shouldn't say Western United States. A lot of them are in the Western United States, but they're from all over. So those are a few. And you could really geek out in either of those groups for a long time. There's a deep rabbit hole to go down. Now that being said, I've kept lots of species of Aphanius and Fundulus and Epiplates at high pH, like 8. I honestly don't think that's a problem. Some of them might have less fertility at that pH because your hardness is probably higher at that pH. But not necessarily. I guarantee you could breed and raise Fundulopanchax gardneri at a pH of 8 and start from there. Oh shoot, chat just jumped. I was literally about to read that comment from, let me see if I can find it again. I don't know how far it jumped. I might not be able to find it. I feel like I should though. Well, the next one I can see is Z Estate BC. I have 7 laser Corys and they are skittish. Will they ever grow out of this behavior? Some do, some don't. It's really interesting. So I can have a group of laser Corys in 2 tanks here at the fish warehouse, side by side. For all intents and purposes, it looks like pretty much the same setup. One group won't be shy, they'll be out and about. Another group will be hiding under their cover the whole time. I don't know what the difference is. So it really depends. There are a few things you can do though. You can provide enough hiding places that they feel like if they needed to get away, they could, so they become less shy, they feel more secure. You could do dither fish, that often helps. To have fish swimming up above them, out and about and comfy. That lets the Corys know it's okay to be out and about and comfy. But I don't know for sure. Also depends on the source. A lot of laser Corys are still sourced from the wild. They're collected and shipped in from Colombia and Peru. And maybe some from Brazil, but Colombia and Peru frequently. And so if you're a wild fish, it might take you a while to settle down and realize, oh, this is okay, this isn't dangerous. Could take quite a while. All right, it's 8:24. Kayla's Aquatics and Reptiles has thrown down the Pippi Longstocking Super Chat. Here it is, folks. Pippi cheering us on. Oops, no, I don't want to remove. Okay. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, got rid of it. Which means, yes, it's time to do the giveaway. sometimes I forget and we get to the end of the stream. I'm like, okay, good night, everybody. And everyone's like, wait. So Chaos Aquatics and Reptiles helps me out by reminding me often. So we'll do the giveaway in un momento. First, I got to get a drink. I'm glad the stream's almost done. It's been fun, but my voice is hurting. I had planned on kind of saving my voice all day, but we had an unexpected problem this afternoon, so I ended up spending a large part of the afternoon on the phone getting that fixed. So, came in hot tonight, my voice. Okay, darn allergies. Here we go, giveaway time. So, for a nice group of Rick May's Orange Venezuelan Corys, we have 281 people entered. That's pretty good. And the winner is Bob Purcell. Bob, that's awesome. Bob's been around for a while. Bob's been active in the chat and watching these live streams for a while. So it's cool when someone that's been around for a while wins. And I see Bob already has commented in the chat, wow. So I don't know why it didn't show up here. Oh, there it is. Now it showed up here. So it is still working. There's just a little delay. So congrats, Bob. That makes my little heart happy that someone who's been supporting so long won. So you know the drill, Bob. Send us an email, hello@dansfish.com. That's HELLO @dansfish.com with your first name, your last name. Yep, I'm about done. And your mailing address. And that way we can know who we're sending them to, where we send them, and get a shipping date scheduled with you. And we'll send you some of these awesome Corys from the best fish breeder that I know of, best stock I know of. All right. With that, we're going to power through the outro. I want to thank my moderators for being here and doing what they do. Oh, before I do the outro, for anyone that didn't hear earlier, Brenda doesn't have anything tonight. Usually, for those that don't know, my wife is a professional singer and musician, and usually she does a little couple minutes of a premiere every Wednesday after I stream, and I go over there and listen to that song after the stream. But she's on a deadline for her other career, which is she's an author. She writes romance novels. So she's on a deadline for some audiobooks that she's getting produced. And so she hasn't had time to get that done. Now for the outro. Thanks to the mods, thanks to the members. That little $5 a month adds up, and it's significant and it's helpful, and we appreciate it. And we just appreciate that people think we're doing a good enough job that they want to be members. There's that too. That's cool too. So thank you. Everyone that threw money at us in the super chats, thank you. Never required, but it's always appreciated when money flies out of the computer screen. I can't talk. Flies out of the computer screen and lands in our laps. We're going for the terminal consonants for the rest of this outro. All right. Thanks to everyone who's lurking. Hail the Lurker Nation. Everyone that's listening to the replay, hello from the past. And if you're listening on the podcast, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, have a good one. I'm going to go rest my voice now. Dan out.